charging towards the player on the ball to, number one, put pressure on him, and number two, push the opposite attacker offside. And this is actually quite a useful technique of defending in FIFA 22, especially when you're in 2v1 situations and you're the defender. I'm about to break it down for you.
Griezmann, 3 men around him, and somehow finds some space. Ronaldo, fantastic, opening the drive back.
He's made himself the tiniest bit of space.
Almost feels like a bit of a taunt. Didn't really go for him. Oh! The display there is absolutely ridiculous. The Elastico on the goal line. On the goal line, the finest.
We talked about AussieFIFA. He's not here to make up the numbers.
In situations where your opponent has beaten your defense, he's 2-on-1, you've got one defender back and you're not sure what to do. Sometimes what you can do, and I've done a tutorial on this, is you can cover the pass whilst also basically running towards the player on the ball to pressure him. But that sometimes doesn't work because sometimes they might do an over-the-top through ball and indeed have the opposite attacker get in behind. What you can do though in situations like this is, if you have the defender in between the player on the ball and of course the runner making the run, but you're keeping him on side, what you can do is you can charge towards the player on the ball, and you pick when to do this. When you're thinking, when you're anticipating that he's going to make that through ball, this is when you want to charge towards him, and usually that will be when he sort of gets towards an area where the through ball might work, where it's got a nice passing lane for the other attacker to run in behind. And when you're in this position, what you can do is you can have control of the defender running back. You can then all of a sudden hit up and pressure him. And the way you do that is by obviously accelerating with the sprint jockey technique. So you use L2, R2 at the same time. Then you let go of L2 and run towards him. Then as you get close, L2, R2 again to position the defender and make the tackle. But the actual main objective of this defending technique is for you guys to push the opposite attacker offside. So you're running towards the player on the ball, and obviously what that will do is push the opposite attacker offside, and at the same time it will put pressure onto the opponent. So he has two options. He can either go back or he can do a through ball. And a lot of the time, lads, as I said, it will be offside. So you're sort of trapping him. It's an offside trap almost, but you're manually doing it. And that's why it does work, in my opinion, sometimes, especially if you are in a last ditch situation. And of course, you need to try and get the ball back off your opponent to prevent him from getting in behind. This is a technique that I personally use. It does take skill, it takes timing, it takes anticipation, but once you can get it down pat, it does work the majority of the time. And I do like to use this, especially in last ditch situations, if I don't have any other options in terms of my defense. But that will signal the end of it, lads. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm doing tutorials on Instagram and TikTok. Go and check those platforms out. They're in the description. I'm also coaching one-on-one on patreon.com, so links are in the description for that as well. But as always, I hope you have a good day. I'm out. Sayonara, au revoir, adios, salam, ciao, goodbye.